When America's income tax was put on the books in 1913, only the wealthiest 1% of Americans even had to file a tax return. And the rate very quickly in World War I went up to nearly 90%. So the effect of the original U.S. income tax was exactly what Congress intended. It fell on wealth, most of which took the form of real estate, because real estate is the largest asset form in any modern economy, and land is the largest component of real estate. And the income tax also fell on financial wealth, securities, stocks and bonds, which were concentrated almost entirely in the wealthiest 10% of the population, as they still are today. So the original income tax, the original taxpayers were the wealthy. But under the last 100 years, almost 100 years, you've had the wealthy classes and their lobbyists for finance, real estate, and insurance chip away at the tax code, introduce small print, and change the tax system so the taxpayers are no longer the wealthy property owners, no longer the financial investors. It's labor and industry, but primarily labor. So you've had a huge tax shift onto the lower wealth brackets today that have maybe 20% of the wealth pay the great bulk of the income tax. In 1913, the original income tax taxed capital gains, mainly land value gains, at the same rate as normal income. Today, capital gains are taxed at only half the income rate. So Warren Buffett really said that he thought it was unfair that he should make hundreds of millions of dollars in income for himself every year, and he pays a lower income tax rate than his secretary, who makes something like $50,000 a year. The richer you are in America today, the lower the tax rate. The poorer you are, the higher the taxes you pay, not only in the form of taxes, but in the form of what used to be taxed, your Social Security and health care, which in other countries are funded out of the general budget on a pay-as-you-go basis. Today, this money is put aside in savings and invested in Treasury securities so that the government has enough money taken from the low, the workers, so that they can afford to cut taxes on the higher brackets. Because the cutoff of Social Security tax and health tax today is $102,000 per year. Over and above that, the wealthy don't have to pay. So the effect of of developing the Greenspan Committee's plans in 1983 to treat the Social Security and health care as a user fee rather than as something paid out of general population is to means that the taxpayer is no longer the wealthy people, it's basically the workers. And the workers, the lower income families, are supposed to be bailing out the wealthy with this $8 trillion bailout under Bush and the $2 trillion more so far under Obama. This is a fiscal polarization of the economy to reinforce the financial polarization of the economy that's taken place over the last 5 years under the Greenspan bubble.